Hello students, in this video I will explain about rhinencephalon. Okay. Now, forebrain, which is also known as prosencephalon, is made up of three parts: pair of olfactory lobes, cerebrum or cerebral hemispheres, and diencephalon. Okay. So rhinencephalon, it includes the olfactory lobes. Okay, olfactory lobe. Okay, now this is the inferior view, that is the inferior surface of the cerebrum. Okay, this is the olfactory bulb, and here is the olfactory tract. Okay, this is the olfactory tract. Now, olfactory lobes, these are small structure on the inferior surface completely covered by large part of the cerebral hemisphere. So, they are small structures which is present on the inferior surface. Okay. One pair of lobe. Okay. So, there are, two cerebral hemispheres. So, one for each hemisphere. So, there is one pair of olfactory lobe. So, total is 2 in number. Each lobe has a bulb which is as anterior swollen part and narrow posterior part. So, this is the olfactory lobe. Okay. And this consists of olfactory bulb. Okay. It is consisting of olfactory bulb, which is an anterior swollen part, and the posterior narrow part is the olfactory tract. Okay, this is the olfactory tract and this is the olfactory bulb. Okay, the swollen part is olfactory bulb and the narrow part is olfactory tract. This together forms olfactory lobe. Okay, so this which is present on the inferior surface of the cerebral hemisphere, there is olfactory lobe which consists of anterior swollen part which is known as olfactory bulb, and posterior narrow part which is known as olfactory tract. This is the tract. Okay. They are solid small structures and they are connected to olfactory region of the temporal lobe via the olfactory tract. So these are small solid structures and they are connected to the olfactory region of the temporal lobe. So in the temporal lobe, there is presence of olfactory region. Okay, and this olfactory, they are solid structures and they are connected to olfactory region. So all this olfactory bulb, olfactory tract, it is connected to olfactory region of temporal lobe via the olfactory tract. Okay, so now this is the olfactory region you can see here of the temporal lobe. Okay, so the olfactory bulb, the olfactory lobe consisting of olfactory bulb and the olfactory tract. So olfactory tract is open into the olfactory area of the temporal lobe, and olfactory means it is related to smell, sense of smell. Okay, so this was just an introduction of the topic which I am going to teach you in detail, that is the rhinencephalon. Okay, now what is rhinencephalon? In animal anatomy, rhinencephalon, okay, also called the smell brain or olfactory brain. So this is the topic which I am going to teach you, rhinencephalon, which is smell brain or olfactory brain, is a part of the brain involved in smell. So this is the part of the brain. Rhinencephalon is that part of the brain which is involved in sense of smell. Okay, now RHIS, RHIS means nose in Greek, and encephalos mean brain. So it is smell brain or olfactory brain which is involved with smell sensation. It forms the paleo cortex and is rudimentary in the human brain. Okay, So this is the topic which I am going to teach you, rhinencephalon. Okay, now I'll proceed further. The olfactory receptors will go one by one. What are its parts? What is our olfactory receptors and what is the olfactory tract, olfactory bulb? Okay. Humans can recognize about 10,000 different odors. Okay, the humans can recognize about 10,000 different odors. The nose contains 10 million to 100 million receptors for the sense of smell. Okay, so there are almost 10 million to 100 million of receptors, okay, which are required for the sense of smell or olfaction, and it is contained within the region called the olfactory epithelium. Okay, now this is the diagram. You can see this is the olfactory epithelium. Yes, this is the olfactory epithelium. Okay, so there are 10 million to 100 million receptors for the sense of smell or olfaction. So this is the nasal area contained within a region which is olfactory epithelium with a total area of 5 centimeter square. Okay, the olfactory epithelium occupies the superior part of the nasal cavity, covering the inferior surface of the cribriform plate and extending along the superior nasal concha. Okay, so where is the location of the olfactory epithelium? The total area of the olfactory epithelium is 5 centimeter square. It occupies the superior part of the nasal cavity. So this is the nasal cavity, this is the lips, these are the nose, so nostrils. So it is occupying the superior part of the nasal cavity, and where it is inferior to the cribriform plate. It is inferior to the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone. So there is one plate in the ethmoid bone which is known as cribriform plate. So olfactory epithelium is along the inferior surface of the cribriform plate. So it is inferior to the cribriform plate, and in extending along this olfactory epithelium is extending along the superior nasal concha. So this is the superior nasal concha. Okay, you can see here, this is the superior nasal concha, and the olfactory epithelium is extending up to this. Okay, and it is present inferior to the inferior surface of the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone. Now this olfactory epithelium consists of 10 million to 100 million receptors. Those are the olfactory receptors, okay, which are present. Now this olfactory epithelium, okay, it consists of 3 kinds of cells. Okay, so the olfactory epithelium, okay, this olfactory epithelium which I am talking about, this epithelium, okay, present in the superior nasal concha, in the nasal cavity, extending up to the superior nasal concha, and it is inferior to the inferior surface of the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone here. So this olfactory epithelium, it consists of 3 cells which are very important. Those cells are the olfactory cells, supporting cells, and the basal cells. So olfactory epithelium, you can see here histologically, the olfactory epithelium, it consists of 3 cells. The first is the olfactory receptor cells, the second are the supporting cells, and the third is the basal cells. So these are the cells which are present in the olfactory epithelium. Very, very important. Olfactory receptor cells, basal cells, and the supporting cells. Okay, now we'll see the functions of each of the cells which are present. Now the olfactory receptor cells, okay, the olfactory receptor cells are the first order neurons of the olfactory pathway. Okay, so it's one of the sensory pathway, as you all know, olfaction. So olfactory receptors are the cells, receptor cells are the first order neuron, okay, of the olfactory pathway. Means the olfaction pathway, that is the olfactory pathway, is first started at this level, that is olfactory receptor cell. So these are the first order neurons of olfactory pathway. This olfactory receptor cells which are present in the olfactory epithelium, and you know where the olfactory epithelium is located. Each olfactory receptor, okay, each olfactory receptor cell is a bipolar neuron. So this cell is what we are talking about, the neuroanatomy. So it will be definitely, there will be neurons present everywhere. So each olfactory receptor cell is a bipolar neuron. You know, there is unipolar, bipolar neuron. So this is bipolar neuron with an exposed knob-shaped dendrite. Okay, so there are dendrites which are present. You can see these are knob-shaped dendrites of the olfactory. These are the dendrites. So this is the olfactory receptor cells, and you can see knob-shaped like a swollen part. So there are knob-shaped dendrites of the olfactory receptor and an axon. Okay, you can see there is an axon. These are the axons. So these are the axons of the olfactory receptor cells which are projecting through the cribriform plate. They are going through and through to the cribriform plate that ends in the olfactory bulb. Okay, so it ends in the olfactory bulb. This is complete olfactory bulb. Okay, so the first cell, olfactory receptor cell, it is the first order neuron of the olfactory pathway. It's a bipolar neuron. The dendrites are knob shaped, as you can see here, and the axons are piercing. It is going upwards and it is piercing the cribriform plate. It is piercing the cribriform plate and it is entering into the olfactory bulb. Okay, it is entering into the olfactory bulb. So this was about the olfactory receptor cell. Okay, now we'll proceed further. Extending from the dendrites of an olfactory receptor cell are several non-motile olfactory cilia which are the sites of olfactory transduction. So from the dendrites, okay, from the dendrites of the olfactory receptor cells, these are the olfactory receptor cells. From the dendrites of the olfactory receptor cells are several non-motile olfactory cilia. You can see here from the dendrites the cilia are arising. So non-motile olfactory cilia which are the sites of olfactory transduction. Now what is transduction? Transduction is the conversion of the stimulus energy into a graded potential in a sensory receptor. So stimulus is converted into a graded potential. Okay, so that is known as transduction. Within the plasma membrane of the olfactory cilia are olfactory receptors that detect inhaled chemicals. So in the cilia, okay, olfactory cilia, there is presence of plasma membrane. So plasma membrane of the olfactory cilia, okay, are olfactory receptors that detect olfactory receptors. They are not receptor cells I am talking. In the cilia, in the plasma membrane of the cilia are presence of olfactory receptors that detect inhaled chemicals. The chemicals that have an odor that bind to and stimulate the olfactory receptors in the olfactory cilia are called odorants. So in the olfactory cilium, okay, there is presence of olfactory receptors, okay, and the chemicals will bind with the olfactory receptors which are present in the olfactory cilium, and those are known as the chemicals are known as the odorant molecules. So molecules, it will bind with the olfactory receptors present in the olfactory cilia. Now olfactory receptor cells respond to the chemical stimulation of the odorant molecule by producing a generator potential, thus initiating the olfactory response. So what will happen? The odorant molecule will get stuck to the or stimulate the olfactory receptors in the olfactory cilium, and then it will, the stimulation will pass to the olfactory receptor cell and it will go upwards to the olfactory bulb. Okay, clear? So this is about the olfactory receptor cell. The axons are going piercing the cribriform plate and it is reaching the olfactory bulb. The dendrites are knob-like structures, and at the ends of the dendrites are presence of olfactory cilia. They are non-motile projections In the olfactory cilia are presence of olfactory receptors in which the odorant molecules binds, and it will stimulate the olfactory receptor cells, and there will be a stimulation which will proceed further inside the olfactory bulb. Okay. Next are the supporting cells. The supporting cells are the columnar epithelial cells of the mucous membrane lining the nose. They provide physical support, nourishment and electrical insulation for the olfactory receptor cells and help detoxify chemicals that come in contact with the olfactory epithelium. So, I'll show you the supporting cells. So, this were the olfactory receptor cells and these are the supporting cells. Now, supporting cells, what they are saying about the supporting cells are the supporting cells. Okay, these are the supporting cells. The supporting cells are columnar epithelial cells of the mucous membrane. So, they are the columnar epithelial cells. The supporting cells are the columnar epithelial cells of the mucous membrane lining the olfactory epithelium, that is lining the nose. They provide what? These supporting cells. These supporting cells. Support means they are providing support. So, they provide physical support, they provide nourishment and they provide electrical insulation for the olfactory receptor cells. So, they are the supporting cells to the olfactory receptor cells and they provide, what does they function? They provide support, they give nourishment and they give electrical insulation or protection to the olfactory receptor cells. And they also help to detoxify those chemicals which are very toxic. So, that is detoxified. Okay, the toxicity is reduced when it comes in contact with the olfactory epithelium. Okay, so these are the supporting cells. The last cells which are present are the basal cells. Okay, the basal cells are stem cells which are located between the bases of the supporting cells. So, these are the basal cells. You can see these are the basal cells. Now, these basal cells, you can see these are the basal cells. These basal cells are located where? Where they are located? These basal cells are located between the bases of the supporting cell. So, this is the supporting cell. So, this is the entire supporting cell, this, and near the bases of the supporting cell are present of basal cells, base, okay, between the bases of the supporting cell. So, these are the supporting cells, these are the supporting cells, these are the olfactory receptor cells, and here this one, these are the basal cells which are present at the basis of the supporting cell. So, this is the supporting cell. At the base of the supporting cells are the basal cells. They continually undergo cell division. They are going cell division, undergoing cell division to produce new olfactory receptor cells. Okay. So, these basal cells, they undergo lot of division to produce olfactory receptor cells which live for only a month or so before being replaced. Now, the life, the longevity, okay, the longevity of the olfactory receptor cell is only for a month. So, it has to be replaced. So, that replacement of the olfactory receptor cell is done by the cell division which is by the basal cell. Okay. This process is remarkable process considering that the olfactory receptor cells are the neurons, okay, which means they are the one neurons, okay, which are replaced. As you all know, the mature neurons are generally not replaced, but this olfactory receptor cells are the neurons, okay, which are replaced, okay. As you know that other neurons are not replaced, but these are the neurons which are replaced, okay. So, this is very, very important landmark. So, basal cells, these are the stem cells which are located at the bases between the supporting cells, okay, bases between the supporting cells, They undergo cell division and give rise to new olfactory receptor cells. The olfactory receptor cells can live for a month or so, and they are replaced by the division done by the basal cells. So this is a very important landmark, as the mature neurons mostly do not get replaced once they are destroyed. Okay. Now the next is within the connective tissue. Okay. Within the connective tissue that supports the olfactory epithelium are olfactory glands or Bowman's glands, which produces mucus that is carried to the surface of the epithelium by the ducts. Okay. Now we are talking about the connective tissue of the olfactory epithelium. Now this is the olfactory epithelium. This is the histology part of the olfactory epithelium. Now within the connective tissue, this is the connective tissue of the olfactory epithelium. This is the histology of olfactory epithelium. So within the connective tissue of the olfactory epithelium, okay, this connective tissue means it is supporting the olfactory epithelium. There are presence of olfactory glands. You can see in the connective tissue there are presence of olfactory glands, which are also known as Bowman's gland, and it produces mucus that is carried to the surface of the epithelium by ducts. So olfactory glands secretes mucus which is carried to the surface of the epithelium. It is carried to the surface of the epithelium with the help of olfactory duct. So these are the basal cells, these are the olfactory receptor cells, these are the supporting cells, the olfactory cilia. So the connective tissue of the olfactory epithelium, it consists of one glands which are known as olfactory glands or the Bowman's glands, and it produces mucus, and that mucus is carried to the olfactory epithelium, okay, with the help of the ducts. Okay, it is carried to the surface of the olfactory epithelium with the help of ducts. Okay, the secretion moistens the surface of the olfactory epithelium. So what is the importance of this Bowman's glands? The secretion which it produces, it will keep the olfactory epithelium moist. Okay, and it dissolves odorants so that transduction can occur. So when it is moist, whatever odors reaches, whatever chemical reaches the olfactory epithelium, transduction can occur. Both supporting cells of the nasal epithelium and the olfactory glands are innervated by parasympathetic neurons. Okay, so the supporting cells, both the supporting cells and the olfactory glands are innervated by what? Parasympathetic nervous system, of which facial nerve, seventh nerve, it can stimulate it, okay, which can be stimulated by certain chemicals. Okay, impulses in these nerves in turn stimulate the lacrimal glands in the eyes and nasal mucus glands. Okay, the result is tears and a runny nose after inhaling substances such as pepper or the vapors of household ammonia. Okay, now this olfactory glands or the Bowman's glands and the supporting cells are innervated by parasympathetic neurons. Okay, they are innervated by parasympathetic neurons which can be stimulated by certain chemicals. Now which parasympathetic neurons? Of the facial nerve. Parasympathetic neurons of the facial nerve, and it can be stimulated, that is the olfactory gland and the supporting cell can be stimulated by certain chemicals. So they get stimulated, the impulses they can reach the lacrimal glands which are present in the eyes and the mucus glands present in the nose. So this will result in tears from the eyes and running nose. Okay. So when you inhale very strong odor like of pepper or household ammonia, you get tears in the eyes and discharge from the nose. So the phenomena is present that the parasympathetic neurons, okay, that is the parasympathetic nerves which is supplying the olfactory glands and the nasal epithelium are stimulated when strong substances such as paper and vapors of household ammonia it gets received by your olfactory epithelium. Okay, so it will stimulate this parasympathetic nerves. When they are stimulated by this order, they will send impulse and stimulate the lacrimal glands that is present in the eyes, around the eyes, and nasal mucous glands in the nose. So what would be the reaction? The parasympathetic reaction would be, there will be watering from the eyes, tears from the eyes, and there will be discharge from the nose. Okay. In the next video, I will proceed further on the topic of rhinencephalon. Thank you, students.